Those Days with the Monsters, Part 34. After what Alex had said about charging iron shoes, Kirrel had expected them to be near this blue star for some time. He was surprised when they left soon after the hulking machine was installed.
"Alex, why are we already in jump?"
he found himself asking as he once again landed on his back on the mat. "We're not planning to charge and carry all those warheads unless it's absolutely necessary. We charge one almost all the way. It'll do the trick for now. It's obscenely dangerous to carry around a lot of them anyway, in case something happens to the ship." Alex tossed him a bottle of some kind of green liquid. "Here, Doc made this for you. Should be a good balance for you."
"What is it?"
"It's called a sports drink. Creative, I know." Alex had her own bottle of blue liquid. Kirrel saw her drinking from it every time they fought. "It's meant to help with water loss. I don't know if you sweat, but it may help some."
Yelem don't sweat. We pant. But we do lose water, so..."
Kirrel looked into the bottle with curiosity. Was it really specially meant for him? Alex didn't seem like a person who lied.
"Thank you."
"Don't thank me, thank Doc. He's the one who made it." Alex seemed slightly uncomfortable for some reason. Kirrel wondered why. "Right, let's go again." Kirrel's frills flared as he scrambled up, mostly orange.
"It's hard to keep kicking you with these on,"
he muttered, looking down at his feet. The talons on his feet had small metal caps on them to blunt them. It was especially awkward trying to keep his balance with a cap on his heel claw. "You'll hit a lot harder when you're done, though." Alex stretched a bit and looked pointedly at Kirrel. A cue for him to do the same. He'd learned that expression thoroughly. As Alex prepared to go again and Kirrel prepared to land on the mat, he saw her eyes fixing on his frills thoughtfully. "The edges of your frills have been black since we left Sirius. What's that colour mean?"
"It's..."
Kirrel considered whether to lie or not. His frills would probably give him away, but he didn't want Alex to know how scared he was.
"It's stress. There's been a lot going on, and I'm reporting straight to a universal hero, and..."
He found himself running out of words, and his frills stained yellow with nervousness, hoping Alex would believe him. As Kirrel watched, Alex's lips set into a line. He wasn't sure about that one, but he thought it might be annoyance. The translator said it was, but at this point the translator agreeing with him was cause for doubt, not confirmation. "Well, if you want to talk about it, I'm here." The yellow on Kirrel's frills deepened. He'd annoyed the Cumin who was about to flip him over his own pelvic bones. That probably wasn't a good idea.
I'm sorry."
"Don't be." Alex's calloused hand patted Kirrel's shoulder awkwardly. "If you don't feel comfortable sharing, can't be helped. Don't apologize for trying to protect yourself. That's why you're working with me after all." Kirrel paused, then nodded.
"Thank you, Alex."
"No problem, kid. That's my job." Alex hesitated, then made the odd expression that Kirrel thought might replace a shrug. "I might have learned a few tricks from Jiminy." A flicker of black and white movement out of the corner of Kirrel's eye distracted him for a moment. A sort of half sound came to his ears, a soft tap-tap-tap of very quiet feet. "What's the matter?" Alex asked, moving back to the mat.
"I just heard something. I might have imagined it."
"Maybe. Maybe it was the ship making noises. Maybe it was the other captain."
"The other captain?"
"Captain Amelia. I'm surprised you haven't met her yet." Alex took a deep breath and let it out, a sign that Kirrel had learned meant she was preparing to fight. "Let's go again." No matter how hard Kirrel tried, he couldn't seem to land the hit Alex was asking him for. She wanted him to bring his heel claw up and strike her face or neck, but he couldn't make it land. Every time her arm flicked up and blocked him, and then once again he was flipped over himself and landed on the mat. His mostly normal frills began slowly filling with orange as he grew more and more annoyed by his inability to land a clear hit. Alex wanted him to land a hit, she'd said so her constant defense was frustrating. Again Kirrel found himself blocked, the arch of his foot neatly barred by Alex's arm.
How's it so hard?
He found himself wondering as he began to tip over again. Kirrel braced himself to hit the mat again, but after a long time opened his eyes, and wondering where the blindingly quick flip was. Somehow, it was still happening. Where everything had been in the blink of an eye before, now it seemed to have slowed down. Kirrel found himself oddly calm, as if there were time to observe. And then he was on the mat again, and time had sped back up.
What was that?
He squeaked out, all but the black edges of his frills coated in teal confusion.
The time just... the hell?
Alex's face seemed to brighten as she bared her teeth. Did it slow down, kid?
Yes. How did you know? What happened?
Alex's mouth parted further, revealing more teeth. It's mostly a human thing, I think. It's a mix between stress and ability, I think. I call it hysterical speed, like hysterical strength, but with time.
Sorry, what? What's hysterical strength, then?
Alex sighed. Oh, you're not gonna like this one, then. Okay, let me think. She paused for a moment, then took a deep breath and let it out, as if she were about to fight. Kirrel thought that was an odd response to a question, but he didn't have time to consider it, as Alex immediately started her explanation. You know Earth is what you call a death world. There's a lot of danger from a lot of sources. Well, that means the humans get into danger a lot. Alex hesitated, then started speaking more rapidly, as if trying to get the explanation out before she lost her nerve. Kirrel had never seen Alex nervous like this before. So sometimes a human will find themselves, or more often their kids, in danger. What happens then is their bodies go into something called overdrive that, well, if a kid is pinned under a hover car weighing 1,000 pounds, what would be the chance of someone getting it off with their bare hands? Kirrel didn't know what a pound was meant to be, but from Alex's tone 1,000 of them was very heavy. It might not even be that much mass, but the human's gravity was high, so 1,000 pounds would likely be hard to move.
I don't know. I don't know pounds very well. It sounds heavy, so probably they couldn't.
Alex nodded. Fair enough. Usually we couldn't lift 1,000 pounds for sure. But sometimes, if it's the kid's parents trying to move the hover cart, sometimes their bodies will go insane, and they can do it very briefly. That's hysterical strength. Now take that and apply it to speed, and you would get what I call hysterical speed. Alex made a face of annoyance. Doc says it's an illusion, but I don't know about that. Anyway, it can sometimes help in a fight. It's nice to know you can do it. Kirrel felt very overwhelmed suddenly. Humans could abruptly decide that right now they were going to be stronger than their body's own limits. He tried to imagine any of the Ylem doing something so insane, and couldn't picture it at all. Could the Ylem not use hysterical strength? He suddenly began to feel very inferior, which was uncomfortable when the comparison was a species from a death world. Let's do it again, Alex said quietly. Think about how I keep moving, and figure out a way to get past it. Kirrel's frills flared. How was he meant to do that with so little time to think? But he stood on the mat, ready to be knocked over again regardless. Suddenly his frills turned yellow and red at a soft sound. Tap, 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 tap. Nervously, he glanced over at the source of the sound. What a small creature. It was black and white, and covered in soft fur, with 2 little pointed ears and a roundish face, and yet the eyes were somewhat chilling. They were green with vertical slits. The creature sat down by the mat, curling a furry tail around its feet.
Alex, what's that?
Alex looked over and bared her teeth. Actually, it almost looked like her teeth bared themselves involuntarily. Ah, there she is. Hello, Captain Amelia. The creature yawned lazily, showcasing small but extremely sharp teeth, and began licking one front leg and rubbing it behind an ear.
This is Captain Amelia?
Yep, she's a bit shy but a sweetheart. But don't pet her for now. If this is your first time seeing her, you don't know her body language, so you might get bit.
She bites?
Kirrel's frills flared again, pulsing red.
Only if you annoy her. She's pretty friendly for her species.
As if in response, the creature looked straight at Kirrel, licking its lips unsettlingly, and made a strange trilling sound. Thank you for listening to episode 34 of Those Days with the Monsters. Read by me, a good bean.